Pickaxe.
Hello and welcome to YOMP! Jesus Christ. Yes, this is YOMPA. This is Ye Old Movie Podcast. It's an acronym. Do you get it now? YOMP. We like to discuss movies that we randomly select from a collection of curated lists that the three hosts of this podcast make. I am host number one. I am Simon the Honeydew Man, Diggy Hole Lane. And with me is the ever fragrant...
Number two, G-Star Games.
Hello, welcome to this episode of YOMP. And with me is number three? I don't know, 1 plus 2?
That's a sex piss. That's the number 3.
Is it?
Really?
A number 1 is a piss. A number 2 is a poo. A number 3 is a sex piss.
But
You mean
why? Ah, okay. Did you not learn that in school, Simon?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Honest.
Hello, Sophie.
Hello, it's me, Sophie. I'm calm apparently.
Oh my god.
Well, we're all cum, really, aren't we? We're just evolved.
when it comes down to it, we're just sort of like cum that's been left around for a bit too long.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Too long, if
Too
you ask
long.
me.
Also, some people call me Skipper.
And
And
those-
G, what's your...
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm bingo because I go in the bin.
Yay! Sophie's got an old nickname.
It's back. We're bringing it back.
Bingo is back, baby.
Bingo's back. She's better than ever. Now she wants revenge.
It's like the tagline of a movie.
What movie could possibly be relevant for anything anymore?
I think
Bingo
Equilibrium.
to the streets.
What if Bingo's the name of the dog?
Oh my god, the dog!
The
Yeah.
dog! I
That
love
dog is
the
actually called
dog.
Bingo. Bingo is back. Equilibrium 2.
I love Bingo.
that
We're going to call him
dog.
Bingo
Yes.
because he's
He's bingo now.
he
goes in the bin.
because he goes in the boot of the
Oh
car.
my god. So it should be...
Boot go.
Good go.
I love you, Boot go.
I'm pretty sure I saw a
hell.
trivia about the dog.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
I've got it written down.
Nice.
Don't worry.
Okay, good.
I'm on top of things as usual.
Yeah, you are. Man with a
Yeah.
plan.
I'm the opposite.
Exactly. But that's why we're all here to support each other.
Hooray.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is how it works. It's an operation.
So last week we rolled some dice, and the dice told us that we had to watch Simon's pick, Equilibrium, with that man Christian Bale and another couple of guys in it. And
You were doing so well. You were doing so
there
well.
was a couple of guys that, honestly,
Sean Bean?
Yeah, I didn't
Sean
realize
Pertwee?
I didn't realize it was Sean Bean
What?
for ages.
Oh my god.
Oh, the face
It turns out
blindness.
I've got really fucking bad face blinders because I watched 2 films recently and didn't realise that the 2 main characters were the 2 main characters of the same film that I watched earlier until I looked at it and was like, what?
This is insane. I mean, he wasn't around for long, so I can't say I blame you too
Yeah.
much.
In the Sean Bean tradition, he gets killed off early.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But Jesus H. Christ. What is... Yeah. But yes.
Simon, why did you pick this movie?
I consider this to be a very fun action movie
Mm-hmm.
that is very cool, with lots of cool action and guns and good outfits and Christian Bale being cool and like really good at like martial arts with guns. If you like The Matrix,
Yep.
but you but you thought the plot was too complicated. Equilibrium's the film for you.
That is very. That's a good point. That's very well said, to be honest.
Yeah.
Them and their gun quando.
Yeah.
Gun kata, it's called.
Gun kata.
Kata.
Is that what it was called? Okay.
Yeah, like the stuff you... Qatar.
Like the country, Qatar.
Right.
No. Like the stuff in your throat, Qatar.
Oh, okay.
What's gym Qatar? Yeah. Is that when you go to the gym and then you get really phlegmy because you're breathing too hard?
No, that's when you go to a village that's filled with people that want to kill you. And you just do, like, gymnastics. Yeah. That's a film. Gee, that's a film. Right, so, yes, Equilibrium. I thought this would be a nice, fun watch. And
you always
we'll
go
see
for the light-hearted stuff, don't you, Simon?
I try to. So, light-hearted, yes. So everyone in the future lives in a fascist society.
Yeah, like what? Okay.
Where puppies are outlawed.
Literally, dogs get, like, you know, put in front of a firing squad. Yeah, nice and light.
Yeah. Dogs do get shot in this film.
They do. Quite a few.
You don't get to see them being shot, though.
No, you get to look at Christian Bale's sad face.
And the dog's going...
Oh, God.
Yeah, but to be honest, I have my own headcanon for this bit. Really.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, will you let us know when we get there?
Yeah.
Can you remember?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You sure you can remember?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, it's the near future. There's been World War III. That's happened. And the survivors have built a new society, and they realized that the cause of World War III was out of control emotions. So now we have a society, it's called Libria, and
Liberia.
And they have a bunch of these badass motherfuckers. I just can't pronounce anything today. What the fuck? The Grammaton Clerics, they're called.
Yeah.
They're basically, if you've seen 2000 AD, they're the judges, basically. And they seek out and eradicate the true source of man's inhumanity to man, his ability to feel. So emotions is bad.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a bunch of people there. There's like lower ranking soldiers that are called sweepers, which are like the firemen from Fahrenheit 451. They go out and they destroy things because things can cause emotion.
If you haven't seen the movie and you'd like to, please pause the podcast now and go and watch the movie. As soon as you finish watching the movie, then you can press play. Welcome back.
Now, press play. Welcome back. Now press play. That doesn't work, does it? Because it would be paused.
Yeah.
They wouldn't hear me.
Nicely
Thank you for
executed.
unpausing.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for coming.
Yes. Thank you for coming. So there are these badass clerics that have their own unique martial art. Gun kata.
Kata.
It's kung fu with guns.
Gun kwang do, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
So
gun. Gun fu. Gun fu is so much better. I should have written this.
It's just like kung fu,
but
with guns. Gung fu.
I was so tired last night because I was like, okay, this is pretty much like The Matrix. What is he? What's the iconic line? And I couldn't think of it for some reason. And then I was just like, oh, fuck, it's just gun kwang do. I'll call it gun kwang do. But he says, I know martial arts now. Is it martial arts? No, I know kung fu.
Whoa, I know kung fu.
Yeah.
Like, I know kung fu now. Oh my god.
Keanu Reeves. Whoa.
But instead of Keanu Reeves as Neo, we got Christian Bale
as Neo.
John Preston.
Preston Garvey.
He is very much styled in the fashion of Neo. Like they had a mold of Neo, and then they just squeezed Christian Bale into that mold.
The the budget was spent mostly on long leather coats and motorcycle
Fascist
helmets.
uniforms.
This was fantastic. They were just like, yeah, okay, what are we going to do? But they were like, we can save some money if we only have like a few people on screen all at once and then just keep swapping the coats.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. You got to cut corners when you can.
Well, they're not using any colours, so, you know.
Well,
all grayscale and black.
Colours make you feel things,
Colours
so everything
make
has
you
to be
feel things.
grayscale.
Colours. As the film goes on, though, did you notice that the colour returned to the film?
Mm.
It was very clever.
Did
that, and there's
that.
more. It becomes more violent with more blood spilled and such as well.
Yeah,
there's actual blood. There's not just like dead people.
Flashbang. Yeah, like the gun.
So it's actually a very clever film. That's what you're saying, right?
Actually, right. So starting out, I was thinking, oh my god, it was just people getting shot a lot.
Yeah,
and then Christian Bale and a guy are looming a lot. They're just kind of standing there looking really like stoic.
Yeah,
and then he slides into a door and shoots more people, lots, with a strobe light.
Yeah,
there's so much shooting at the start of it. I was like, fuck's sake, what is going on?
We have our two clerics that arrive on the scene. The sweepers, which are the guys in black with the motorcycle helmets. They've got this group of sense offenders. They're not called sex offenders. They're called sense offenders.
Okay, so because I couldn't get the subtitles to work for this film, every time they said it, I swear to God, I thought they were saying sex offender.
My games.
God.
Did you not figure this out in context as well?
I was like, they can't be saying sex offender, right? But
I just cannot with you.
It sounded like sex offender.
What the fuck? It's supposed to. It's supposed to.
Okay.
It's like the same caliber of badness to them, I think.
Okay. In this society,
if you feel happiness, you may as well have fondled someone under the age.
Well,
oh my God.
Well, it's because in the same breath, they said they're a sense offender and he fornicated with a female. And I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe they're not the same thing. Like,
oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so, right, back on track. So the sweepers, they're just the random soldiers, faceless guys. They've got the sense offenders. They're in this room. And our badass clerics appear on the scene. We got John Preston, Christian Bale, and we got Errol Partridge, who's played by Sean Bean.
Oh, I didn't realise it was Sean Bean for the longest fucking time until he actually said something. I was like, oh, that's Sean Bean.
Amazing.
It's the only time a man can be brave.
When he's having a cup of Yorkshire Gold. Delicious.
So, obviously, you think, okay, how are they going to handle this situation? Well, Christian Bale runs at the door, breaks it down with his foot, and then he just stands there in the dark because they shoot the lights out.
I found
he stood there.
Sorry, I found this scene very cool because not only did he burst through the door, the sweep squad had their guns pointed at all the hinges and all the, like the parts of the door that like obviously have it in the frame. So they shoot it as he's bursting through. Right?
So he slides on it.
I thought that was so...
like a surfboard.
Yeah. I thought that was so epic, so cool.
I thought
very
that
clever.
was so cringe and cheese.
No! Sophie, come on.
Right, okay, listen. At this point, and there was so much bad CGI.
There was,
horrific CGI.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was thinking, oh my fucking God, what is this? And then I was like, lighten up, you bitch.
Oh my God.
It was like Simon was sitting on my shoulder going, lighten up, you fucking bitch. And I was like, right, I'm just going to roll with it. We're just going to go with it. But I did think at that point, this is very, very lame. And I didn't really like The Matrix, so.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't seen it since I was about 14, so it could have changed. My opinion could have changed.
You probably hate it even more now.
I probably would. Yeah. I watched it with my first boyfriend. And
oh God.
Yeah, and I didn't know what was going on with either of the things that was happening at that time in my life. It was just so confusing.
Fair
He
enough.
was really into it. He actually wanted me and everyone else to call him Neo.
Oh my fucking
Oh,
god!
Jesus
He had-
Christ.
2 of my boyfriends in my teens had the long leather coat.
Ah!
This explains so
This
much about you, though.
This explains why I have such a hatred of the Matrix as well.
I thought you were going to say of men. I was like,
Of men.
Oh my
and
god!
men.
So Christian Bale slides into this room. It's pitch black, and he stands there for 20 seconds, doing nothing. People are like whispering around him. What's going on? Where is he? What is he? And then he just suddenly opens fire, and his arms go whoop 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 when he moves them.
I laugh my ass off.
Whoop.
Like,
He's making these quick movements. He shoots everyone fucking dead.
yeah.
But yeah, the fucking whoop 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 whoop.
It's so comical and it makes no sense. It makes no sense. They're not superhuman, so how are they doing this?
He's so well trained. He's so good at doing what he does. He's moving so fast that the air is making that noise as his arms move.
It just looks like it's snapping into place. Like there's no A to B. It's like there's no space in between A to B. It's just A to B. And his arms are like 90 degrees, 180. It's like where?
His arms teleport into place.
Yeah.
Like they're just instantly in a different position.
You got them real
Yeah.
fast arms, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think you get that effect because there's the flashes from the gun. That makes it look like they're just instantly moving.
Maybe.
But
Yeah,
oh my
the
god,
strobing.
isn't he fucking cool? Isn't he cool?
Such a badass.
And then they discover under the floorboards the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, so he could. I thought, oh, they found a nice rug. I could sense that he was like, look at that. That's a nice bloody rug. We could have that. But then apparently he could sense that there was the Mona Lisa under the floorboards.
He could feel the art.
But the feeling's not allowed.
Yeah, that's not
Oh, shit.
allowed.
Well, the thing is with Preston, he can get into the minds of the resistance people and think how they think.
Oh,
So he knew that there would be a
yeah.
trapdoor under that rug.
He's
So like,
even-
why is there a rug there?
He's like one of the
to hide a
best.
trapdoor.
He's one of the best clerics, is what we come to learn. He's like
Yes.
the best of the best. He's so fucking good at his job because he has no feelings and he can feel what everybody else is. He can think about what everyone else is feeling and goes like,
Yeah.
just execute people without even giving a shit.
Mm-hmm.
They scan to determine that it is the real Mona Lisa with a magic device, and then they set fire to it with flamethrowers.
Yeah.
So that's gone now. The Mona Lisa's been destroyed.
Good riddance.
And on the car journey home, Preston notices that Partridge, this is Sean Bean, he's got a book of poetry in his pocket. And he says, what are you doing with that? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna take it to evidence myself because they never do it right. And it's a book of poetry by W.H. Yeats.
Yeats.
And
Yeats.
there
Did
is
you-
a theme.
Yeah. Did
but-
you notice throughout this? I mean, Partridge was giving Preston some fucking weird looks the whole time, and I was thinking,
He looked sus.
ooh, what's going
Didn't
on here
he?
with that?
Such a badass, though. I love Sean Bean.
They drive in to the city of Liberia. Forgotten what it's called. Libria.
The city is also the
Libra.
country.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how it works.
But
Oh,
there's the
yeah.
outside, of,
Yeah.
which is called the Nether,
Oh,
Sure.
Yeah,
and that's where they've
not like
come from.
Minecraft.
That's where they've
Yeah.
come from. And it's like, it says something like, returning to the city really makes you realise why we're doing this. And Sean Bean's like, it does?
Does it? Yeah.
And then he injects himself with something after
Yeah.
Preston says, what? And goes, it does.
It does. Yes, I'm agreeing with you.
Their alarms go off on their watches, and that means that it's time for them to take their drugs.
Yes.
They're happy
So-
time.
It's
liquid.
prosium.
Oh, and also there are airships in this place, but we never see them again. We only see them once in this scene, I think.
Human emotion is the disease, and prosium gets rid of it, much like Prozac numbs everything that you're
Valium.
feeling. And Valium. They go to a drive-in movie, and it's like it's not Hitler, but it's
Wasn't it Hitler?
It's Daddy.
It might have been Hitler.
No, yeah, because they were showing
there was
Stalin.
a brief flash of Hitler, yeah, when they were talking about war is bad,
Yeah.
and that's why we all have this drug
Yeah.
to stop us from wanting to make war.
Because I don't know about you guys, but I go through this thing where I constantly, like, sometimes I just can't stop thinking about, like, going to war.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
You know,
men
when
with
you
the
have
Roman
feelings-
Empire. Apparently,
It's like
they think about it a lot.
Yeah. Every month I just suddenly want to go to war.
Oh, right.
When it's that time of the month, yeah. Why didn't they eradicate women? Women are the most emotional,
Honestly,
hysterical.
if they had, it would just
eradic-
be a utopian society.
G-Star Games, why didn't they just eradicate women?
Because they're the most emotional.
There's no need for it to be a fascist society. There's no need for everyone to have their emotions controlled by a drug. It would just be a beautiful utopian society.
It's that meme. If women were
Yeah, it's like the
eradicated.
meme. Oh my god. So showing this footage of Hitler on the big screens is apparently its father, who I'm going to be calling Daddy.
Yeah, I call him Daddy at some point as well in my
Yeah.
notes.
This is Sean Pertwee, a different Sean. And he's congratulating the people for embracing this cure for their bad feelings. This drug called Prosium. And they also have these flags that look a little bit like a Nazi flag.
It does.
There's like a not swastika on it.
And they're red, aren't they? Are they red?
It's a red field with a white circle.
Yes.
And then the black emblem.
Black emblem. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's the Nazi flag.
Yeah.
Woo.
We meet the Vice Consul Dupont of the Third Conciliary of the Tetragrammaton.
What?
Now, Tetragrammaton is interesting because that's how often, like, Jewish people in particular will write the name of God by using 4 letters for Yahweh without the vowels. So, but there's no explanation for why it's called the Tetragrammaton in this. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Nothing really makes sense.
There's a lot of, like, there's stuff that does make sense and then there's stuff that just doesn't.
There's some stuff that I think they just put in to make it sound really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that might be it. So Dupont is an important man. He is Daddy's voice. He speaks on behalf of Daddy, and he's pretty much in charge, apart from Daddy himself. And he knows all about Preston's special ability to instinctively know when someone's has feels. And he then calls out Preston for not knowing that his own wife was a sex offender. 4 years ago, it was discovered that she had feels, and then she was incinerated. And Dupont asks Preston how he felt about that. And Preston kind of makes a slight bit of a face, but then he says he felt nothing.
He's like, I don't understand why you're asking me that question, sort of thing.
Yeah. But he doesn't look upset.
No.
So I think he was being tested there.
Of course.
Preston watches back the footage of himself and Partridge in the car because he finds it a bit sus. And then he heads to evidence to see if Partridge had actually turned in the book. And he hasn't. Partridge hasn't actually turned in any evidence in weeks.
Right.
Turns out Partridge has been going out into the nether like every night, I should say, for the last 2 weeks, doing things. And Preston goes out and manages to just find him immediately, which I'm not quite sure how he knew he was like in this church.
Well, there's something even weirder than that. Like after.
What is it, G-Star Games?
Well, it's the fact that I'm skipping ahead here, but his new partner shows up at the door as it happens. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How?
He was just on standby, ready to go.
Literally, I was like, what the fuck did you come from? The body's barely cold.
It's not cold at all.
No.
So Preston confronts Partridge, who's reading the book of poetry in this church. And Partridge knows that the game is up, that he's fucked. But he does sort of say some words to Preston and basically says feeling things is good, actually. And then he kind of quotes Yeats saying about, the treading on dreams line. And then he reaches for his gun and Preston shoots him through the book.
He says, "Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't you fucking do it.
Don't make me do." And yeah, he just shoots him in the face. But what is this running thing that Sean Bean dies all the time? As soon as I saw him, I'm like, he's gonna die. He's gonna die.
He requests it in his contract. He's like, could you kill me off so I don't have to work so much?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think he likes being in movies, but he doesn't like working for like months at a time. So he likes showing up, doing like a couple of weeks' work, and then that's it. He's done. He's out.
What a Chad, honestly.
Yeah. And then he goes and he like sits in a beer garden of a pub in Sheffield, gets wasted.
Yeah,
that's what he used to do.
Oh.
So yeah, we immediately we see the replacement of Partridge just walk straight in. Like the second Preston's body falls to the ground,
yep,
we see the new partner. We don't know his name yet, though. Preston heads home and he sees his son Robbie watching Daddy on the massive TV, and he's a bit too close to it as well. That's no good for his eyes.
He calls his dad John.
Yeah,
yeah.
I put Giga Chad Society, calls his dad John.
Because I guess it's distancing that sort of relationship of calling someone Papa,
Papa.
And he mentions that he caught his friend crying. Should he report him? And Preston's like, well, yeah.
Preston says unquestionably. So yeah, Robbie is going to be snitching on his friend who was crying.
And these kids are like 8.
They're like robots.
They're very little kids, and the fact that, crying is such a bad thing.
Yeah.
These kids are like,
yeah.
Fuck out. Yeah.
No, I get it. It's like no crying, nothing outside of, like, as the movie goes along, you'll see just how, like, within the lines everyone acts and behaves. Even to how a desk has items on it. It has to be in a certain way. And, God forbid you take one step too quickly or you put your hand on a railing, anything like that outside of how people are supposed to be behaving, it's a red flag. As soon as you step outside of that, immediate red flag, and you got to report it.
It's
individuality.
a red flag with a white circle.
And a suspicious little four-edged symbol in there.
Preston goes to bed and he has a dream about his wife, who is apparently played by an actress with the surname Calzone.
Yes!
Unless it's the other actress who played the same character.
Oh my god! I looked that up too.
Very strange. It's a very strange thing. May as well talk about it now.
Please do, because me with my face blindness has no fucking clue what was going on.
Okay.
So, 2 different actresses played Preston's wife.
Right.
The footage where she's condemned to be executed was filmed first, and that was Alexa Summer. But then, when they needed to film the scene when she was arrested, she could not be found.
What?
Which is an interesting way of putting it.
You know what's fucked up? I clicked on her name in IMDb. She's only credited in Equilibrium.
No other credits.
What the fuck?
I think she fucking died.
Oh my god! I'm crying.
So yeah, Calzone had to take her place. So as a result, there's 2 separate credits. Summer is credited as Viviana Preston, and Calzone is credited as Preston's wife.
I see.
Even though it's the same character.
Yeah.
How fucking weird. But I guess these things happen.
The
when you're
only
making
reason why
films.
I looked this up, because she looked familiar. The calzone woman looks familiar. She almost she looked like a blend of Rhea Seehorn and the woman from X-Men, the one that plays Rogue. So she looked like a
Seahorn.
I think that's
I
her
know.
name.
What is that name?
I thought you were like. I thought seahorn was a kind of seaweed and it was like it's rare. And I was like, well, why would this woman look like a fucking plant?
Okay, hold. Her name is spelled Rhea.
Oh, Rhea.
Right. Is it
Rhea
R-H-E-A?
Oh, Rhea. I would pronounce that as
Rhea.
right.
Oh, like diarrhea.
Like diarrhea.
Yeah.
So she's the woman
Fucking hell.
in Better Call Saul. She plays
Skylar.
No, Kim Wexler. Anyway, she looked like a combination of those two people, and I was like, oh, she looks familiar. So I went into IMDb, and then I'm like, what the fuck? Her name is Maria Pia Calzone, and then it's like, no, actually, she's
Maria
Alexa.
Pia Bia Calzone.
Oh my
Christ.
God. So, Preston's having this dream. He dreams about his wife getting arrested. And Preston defends her by doing some gun kata. We see it for the first time, where he's like grabbing their wrists and knocking their guns about. And it looks cool as fuck. But the soldiers say that it's like official business, and she is a sense offender. And she's escorted away, and her last words are, "Remember me," which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
So that's a nice dream to have. He wakes up. He's about to take his morning dose of prosium when he knocks the vial to the ground and it shatters.
Oh, no.
And then his weird robot snitcher son walks in and it's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You have to go to Equilibrium, lock the loss, and get a replacement vial." And
I wanted to punt his child.
It was uncharacteristic of him to break his dosage because he never normally puts it there. He's done something in a different order.
Yeah.
And which is why he knocked it down. And he was like, "That's not like me."
Yeah, he's like, I usually brush my teeth and then do it or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I think at the breakfast table, he's like, "Oh, I hope you don't mind. I took the liberty of..." I was just like, "Shut up, you little shit." Go shove your head down the
little
toilet.
shit tells off his sister for playing with her cereal.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that he's expressing annoyance, which might be an emotion.
Yeah, I don't know. I
guess.
don't know what the rules are.
I wrote down,
Because
he has a heartwarming
people are just openly smiling, right, in this film.
I wrote down he has a heartwarming conversation with his son. And I think it was just about that.
It's very heartwarming.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really
so
heartwarming.
moving. I cried.
So Preston heads to the local Equilibrium site, but it's been closed due to terrorist activity. Apparently there's a bunch of resistance people that sometimes cause mischief, bomb things. So the site's closed. But it's just one dose. What difference could it possibly make? His new partner, who's called Brandt, picks him up in his lovely shiny car, and they head to a sex offender's apartment to conduct a raid. We discover it's a lady, a red-headed lady.
She was in. Now listen, I don't have face blindness with her because she is strikingly different looking. She is the lady from Red Dragon. She's just got them big eyes.
Red Dragon?
She's
Is that actually her?
Blind lady.
The blind... Oh my fucking God.
I only have
Emily Watson.
Yeah, I only have very specific face blindness. If you look like really striking and I go, "Wow, that's a nice feature," or "Wow, that's interesting," then I will remember it. So big eyes lady, doll face. I think, oh yeah, I remember her.
Doesn't have big eyes, does she?
She's got big blue eyes.
Oh.
She's got a lovely mirror in her apartment with like a gold fancy frame. And Preston grabs her, spins her around, and makes her face the mirror. And he's like, "Look at you! Look at you!" And then something like happens to him. And he says, Look at you."
Oh,
and it's like, There's just like a glimmer of something within him, something, maybe a feel.
He sort of gets less, his violence sort of fades away slightly.
Well, yeah, because
Brant is like side-eyeing him. He's like, huh?
Well, I think it was that, but also how he's saying, look at you. He's talking to himself in a way. He's like, look at you, look at what you're doing.
Wow.
I know, it's very deep.
They tear down a wall and they discover a room filled with old junk. It looks like Booth's bedroom.
I was going to say, look, her room is illegally interesting.
I'm pretty sure I wrote that in my notes. I don't remember whose space it was. I don't know if it was that one or the one that they find later. And I said, this looks like a booth room.
It's absolutely a booth room. It's clustered. It's full of stuff that you want to look at.
Yeah, very, very eccentric, interesting items everywhere.
I love houses that are like that. Houses that are very, very lived in, and houses. I told myself, because I used to love going around people's houses that they had all these trinkets and stuff in that I'd just be so interested in as a kid, and I was like,
just going around old ladies' houses.
Yeah, I loved
just
it.
Fiddling with their ornaments.
I always did that. So when I was young, there was one of the neighbours, and I used to go around, and there was this brass camel figure, and I would just touch it and play with it all the time, and she gave me it when I was about 2 or 3, and I've still got it.
That's so
and
cute.
Things like, and I just told myself I want to be one of those people where you go in and you go, wow, like there's so much stuff to look at. So basically, I'm a hoarder.
On your way.
I'm laughing in my head because I'm like, Booth looked at an older lady and was like, I want to be like her when I grow older.
I do. I love it. It's so good, and it's like I have really good memories of going around like my auntie's house and just messing with stuff, just playing with everything and going, wow. It's like bloody Caves of Wondered, like.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Good.
Very, very interesting items, because I guess back then it wasn't so much you could order stuff online. You would have
they didn't have Funko Pops back then.
Oh
my god, is a Funko Pop's the modern version of like those ornaments?
Maybe.
That's
I hate
disgusting.
that.
But I think what makes like what Booth is saying special is because you couldn't really get stuff ordered online. It'd be
all
a case
had a story behind it.
Yeah, it would have to be something that you or someone else that you know went on holiday somewhere, or you went somewhere physically and you got this item.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it's just like you can get anything in the click of a finger. And
you just buy tats off of Amazon and fill your house with plastic shit.
Yeah.
So there was one of my neighbours that died, and I went round her house because her family said, oh, you can have whatever you want from there. And I went in, and one of the things I took was a picture of her, it was a photograph of her dog.
Oh my god!
And I think it was what was it called? It had a really stupid name. Like it was something like Tiffany.
What is this story? What's Tiffany?
She loved that dog so much, and it'd been dead for like 40 years. And
oh my god!
I took that, and I took a table. I love like people's photographs. I will take and I'll keep them if they don't want them anymore.
Oh my god! He went to a dead lady's house, took a picture of a 40 years dead dog and a table. What the fuck?
This is the greatest story you've ever told.
I've got
and how did that make you feel?
I really loved it. I loved it. I had
try
feelings
remember
about
the
it.
name of the dog.
I'll try and remember the name of that dog.
Tiffany.
The woman's name was Gladys, and she was absolutely batshit insane.
God.
She kept accusing everybody of going around and stealing her tights off the washing line.
Stop stealing my bloody tights, you sex offender!
You sex offender, get off.
Oh, my mom used to make me
God.
go next door and visit the old lady. Her name was Beryl.
Beryl.
Beryl, very Australian.
Beryl and Gladys.
Beryl
I
and
love
Gladys.
old lady names. Aren't they good?
They are. They're fantastic. You won't find anyone called Beryl today or fucking Gladys.
I know,
Yeah.
it's sad.
They're all dead. They're all dead, that's why.
Yeah, she used to
right
make me
off.
go around and like go and visit her and take like, like biscuits and stuff for Easter. I mean, I was young, so I kind of hated it, but in retrospect, it's kind of sweet.
It was like going around to my great grandma's house, and she would have those nesting tables, and me and Rosie would sit on the littler ones and have the middle one as like a table, and she'd give us shot glasses full of lemonade and ginger
Oh my
biscuits.
God.
And we would look at all the stuff in her house there as well. And it smelled like peonies, which is much nicer than the normal piss of a nursing home.
I was going to say, you started saying pee. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And it smelled like pee.
It smelled like pee.
Oh, so, there's this hidden secret room in this lady's apartment filled with all this wonderful junk. And we get a lovely split diopter shot. There's a few of those in the film.
What is that? Can you explain?
It's when a subject in the foreground is in focus and a subject that's in the background is also in focus in the same shot.
Ooh!
So there's two lenses. The lady sadly asks, you're going to burn it, aren't you? And she goes to grab a gun of the soldier next to her, the sweeper next to her. Brandt pulls out his gun, is about to shoot her, but Preston grabs his arm and raises it up.
Loved that shot. I thought that was so clever. The way that they filmed it was really cool.
Yeah, but Preston says, we have to question her. We need to take her into interrogation. That's his excuse for not letting her get murdered. And we have the questioning in a cell somewhere at HQ.
I want to know who ratted on her. I want to know who dobbed her in for not taking her medication and also the mirror frame. Or I don't know which one she was ratted on for. I assume it was the medication? Because they seem to know everything, these people. Like, how would they know she's not taking it? It's just stuff like that in the film that sometimes isn't really, like, explained or elaborated on. They just sort of happen, and you're like, oh.
Well, you just kind of accept it.
I think any film is like that. There's plenty of things that aren't fully explained. How did these people get to this coffee shop? Did they take the bus? Did they drive?
No.
What's the parking situation like? There's always things that aren't explained.
If it's important...
Is it important, though?
Yeah, because there's no real, like... There's, like, what I would have liked to have known and found fascinating is how do they regulate and keep on top of people's actions? And because it always seems like they're very on it. They're very, if the hair is out of line, they will know about it. And I want to know how.
I think part of it is because of people like the clerics that are so in tune with everything. They can pick up on what other people are thinking in connection to other people.
And a lot of people are snitching,
yeah.
I think.
Yes. Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she is questioned by Preston, and she basically asks, what's the point of living when you feel nothing and you just exist?
Mm-hmm.
And he says that she's going to be taken to processing, and she points out that that's just a euphemism for execution. Why don't they just say execution? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going to get processed. And then we have a little demonstration of gun kata with Dupont. He explains that it's basically maths, but with guns. You have to do all this sort of geometry in your brain to be able to be really good at this martial art involving firearms. So I hope that explains to the audience. You see, it's not just some made-up bullshit.
Yeah.
They actually show, like, diagrams of, like...
That still didn't make any sense.
Geometry with, like, angles and stuff. It's like, yeah. But yeah, it's particularly devastating. Like, if you're an expert in this, you will just kill every single fucking person around you without breaking a sweat. Preston goes to take his evening dose of prosium, but decides to skip it again. Much like that morning. He has a dream of Mary she slides down a chute into the furnace, and
very, very weird pacing of the dream, but I guess that's dreams. I guess they were trying to like encapsulate.
It's almost funny.
Yeah,
that shot of her just sliding down into it.
Yeah, because it was like fast, right?
Speaking of dreams, I'm going to be on a podcast at some point in the future where I talk about my dreams with Kirsty and Bryony called The Comfort Zone.
Oh.
I think that's quite a nice little tie-in. Keep an eye out for that. Ear out.
It might have already come out by the
time
this comes
it
out.
will have done, because Kirsty and Bryony are in no way as organised as we are.
Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to Sophie talk about her dreams.
You can pause the podcast that you're listening to now and listen to that podcast.
What did you talk about on the episode that's already gone out?
My dream, in which I dreamt that I do you really want to hear my dream that I'm going to talk about? Because I wrote it down.
Do you know what? I don't think we have time. And also, we want to make sure that people will listen to it over on the other podcast, Comfort Zone.
It was really weird. There was taxidermy in it.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
Sophie was taxidermied.
Ah!
Still alive.
Oh my God.
Preston wakes up sweating. His heart is beating wildly.
He looks very ripped in this film.
Oh, he does. It's Christian Bale.
Oh.
So I watched this film on Saturday. Okay. And at some point on Friday night, I accidentally missed my dose of pregabalin and woke up Saturday morning very, very early, sweating, heart palpitations, nightmares.
Oh my God.
Oh jeez.
Didn't know what the fuck was going on, and it took me 3 hours to come back to reality. And then I shook out my duvet late that afternoon and found the pill that I'd missed taking, and I was like, this is so...
There we go.
So
it's like withdrawals.
It's withdrawals, like, and I'm actually getting feelings from
oh my God.
not taking the pregabalin.
We don't want those. Those are bad.
Did you walk over to your window, tear off the plastic that was obscuring the view, and look out over Blackpool where there was like rainbows and rain? And it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
In the golden light.
What actually happened was I staggered to the bathroom and was looking in the mirror going, what the fuck?
Well, that's what he did. He went in there.
Yeah.
And he's sweating.
He's overwhelmed by feels.
I was overwhelmed by adrenaline and having an unregulated amount of chemicals. So it was different, but the same.
He's skipped a day of his, happy time liquid. Sorry, fun time liquid. I've called it FTL.
It's not fun time. It's no time. You don't feel anything.
True, actually, yeah.
You don't feel happy, you don't feel sad, you feel nothing.
It reminds me of that game, We Happy Few, where they take the pill to sort of keep I love that game. So good. But yeah, he's like sort of having a bit of a meltdown in front of the mirror, and I'm just looking at how ripped he is. Looks very good. He does very dramatic body transformations in his roles. He can go from very swole, very sort of like he was obviously Batman, so he was in Batman.
He got really fat, and then he was in The Machinist, and he was really thin.
Oh my God, The Machinist! Yeah. My God, he was...
That was one of the only films I've seen in the cinema. I haven't been to the cinema all that much, you realise. And that was one of the ones I saw, and I remember sitting in a corner and not really being able to see anything.
Oh no.
More anecdotes. So good.
So, yeah, Preston's looking in the mirror. He's got the injector against his neck, but we don't see him actually inject himself.
He didn't. He just sort of thought about it.
Yeah.
And then doesn't.
Preston comes to the realization that there's no real concept of individuality in this society. And this is helped by Sean Pertwee's daddy, like, literally saying that as he realizes it. Like, we're all the same. Everyone is the same. Everything's the same. And he's looking around. He's like, oh my God, everything's the same.
No way.
He's sat at his desk and he's dressed the same as the guy in front of him, the guy behind him. The desk is exactly the same with the layout of objects on the desk, exactly the same. And and he starts rearranging things on his desk, and Brandt turns up, and he's like, "What are you doing? What are you?" And he's like, "Oh, just sort of re-optimizing the layout of things on my desk." And at this point, I was like, "Is this film about neurodivergence?"
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, jump scare. So when he was like rearranging the stuff on his desk, I put, he's rearranging his desk. Someone arrest him. Actually, no, execute one of his kids. That'll teach him.
Oh my god!
I mean, am I wrong?
We cannot have G in a position of power in a fascist society.
This is why women should have been eradicated.
Exactly.
We're gonna have to take her out.
I stand by that statement. And then when he was like walking up the stairs as people are like walking up to get to work, I guess, and he's like he's looking at people around him. He drops 2 vials. People step on it. I guess that's his way of getting rid of them without people, tracking him. That he's not taking them. He notices like a woman riding her hand up the railing. Because obviously that's something that people are just not, people walk with their hands beside them. They don't really do things that make them stick out. And he sort of takes off his glove and does the same thing as her. So it's really subtle, nice things like that show that he's,
You don't realize
he has feels.
You don't realize that these little things do generate feelings. Like the feeling of a handrail and the smell of things and the way that you organize things
exactly
on your desk.
Yeah. It's about neurodivergent people, the film.
I thought this was interesting coming off of the back of They Live with all the propaganda. People conforming and all the propaganda being sprouted on from Daddy as well. It's a bit more in your face with this, but
Preston and Brandt go off together on another raid. They go off into the Nether. This is the group that bombed the Equilibrium. I think it's the Equilibrium Prosium factory, or I'm not sure. Maybe it's a distribution center that's called Equilibrium. But they bombed a factory that make the drug, and they're heavily armed, and the sweepers go crazy. They're blowing shit up. They're spraying water. They're shooting people. And Preston is stood there looking down at it all. Oh no, this isn't it. This is a different scene. This is the one where a guy runs around the corner, is shot by Brandt, and he dies in Preston's arms.
Yeah.
And Preston is just staring into his eyes as he dies. And he even looks at the blood on his hands.
He's witnessed death for the first time, basically. Despite doing this over and over again for his whole life.
Yeah.
But he feels it this time, what it's like for someone to die in front of him.
Yeah, witnessed and processed and felt, which is the human emotions, human psyche.
He starts fingering bullet holes in the wall, and he notices that one of them has light shining through. He's found a secret entrance to a basement or something, goes down some stairs, and again, it's like the room that was in the lady's apartment. It's filled with all this junk. There's a Newton's cradle that he plays with, and there's a record player, and he puts on an LP by Beethoven. Well, I guess Beethoven didn't make the LP. This was kind of before his time. But you know what I mean. And he also sees a snow globe of the Eiffel Tower, turns it upside down, and the Blackpool Tower. And he looks at the snow in the snow globe whirling around Blackpool Tower. And he listens to Beethoven, and he has a bit of a cry.
So he didn't cry when the man died, but Beethoven is so bad. He's like, yes, I wrote down, he's just walking around touching everything like me at a museum. And then he wrote down, baby's first cry.
Oh.
Baby's first cry.
This might be the first time in his life he cried at anything.
Yeah. Do you think when babies are born, they start injecting them straight away so they don't fucking cry? No, wait, but that would be an evolutionary disadvantage if you don't know what a baby's doing. If you don't,
maybe they're the mother's injected, and so it goes into the baby's
But
system.
the thing is, though, if they got him in trouble for fornicating with a woman, or wait, did he get in trouble because he was like being sexual with a woman, or I didn't understand.
Who are you talking about?
I don't know. There was like a scene where he gets in trouble and they're reading out his offenses. Christian Bale's character, John Preston.
Right.
And it seems like people are not allowed. I mean, that doesn't make sense because he's got 2 young kids. Never mind. I just assumed that they weren't allowed.
Artificial insemination is a thing.
Maybe because the act of, sex is very
intimate
and emotional, and
oh my god, what would it be like when I'm like, I'm about to ejaculate? Oh, very good. I have come.
It's just like being
That
married,
was
isn't
nice.
it?
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just cold emotionalness, just getting it done.
Yeah.
Well, it's like in is it RoboCop where they're not allowed to swear. And no, it's either RoboCop or Dredd.
Demolition Man.
Oh, Demolition Man. Yes.
With Simon Phoenix.
And Sylvester
Fucking love
Stallone. Sylvester Stallone, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that one, they're not allowed sexy time. They're not allowed to swear. There's like a whole bunch
They
of
have a
other
weird
things.
way of cleaning their ass after they've had a shit.
Yeah. There's a lot of weirdness, but
Yeah.
that's why the whole like the sex stuff doesn't make sense, because it's like there's clearly young kids in these like fucking Hitler Youth type educational settings. So like, but how are they reproducing them if they're not allowed to feel? But yeah.
So the whole lot is just, it's all burned. All the wonderful, beautiful things, all just destroyed. But outside, Brandt calls out Preston for having a book in his pocket in exactly the same way that Preston called out Partridge. And the dialogue is even the same. The excuse Preston gives is the same excuse Partridge gave.
Yeah, sometimes
He's like,
Mm.
Yeah, I'll turn it into evidence myself. Yeah, sometimes they mess it up when it's logged, and he says exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But something else has been discovered nearby. It's dogs. It's dogs. These animals were defended by women and children. We put them down easily, is what the sweeper says. Holy shit. There's so many dogs. These beautiful puppers and doggos.
So cute.
And this is what really hurts him. I'm eating a sweetie, sorry.
Mood.
Mood.
They're ordered to open fire on the dogs, and the sweepers start shooting the dogs off camera. We see Preston's face, and he winces every time a bullet's fired, and the dog goes. And then a little puppy runs away, and it runs right up to Preston, and he picks it up.
I thought this was so cheesy, but also like.
He holds it up to his face, and it licks him. And he's ordered to hand over the puppy. Don't worry, cleric, we'll take care of this. He hands over the puppy, but then he takes it back and he says, "Yeah, we gotta test it for disease. There could be all sorts of things going." And he wanders off, and it's so suspicious how he's behaving.
Yeah,
the way that he
so
walks off, he's trying to carry this dog in a way, and it's like loving a dog is just an innate human thing. You just love a dog. You just look at it and you go, I love that dog. I'll take him home.
Man. He's a lovely boy.
He's a lovely
boy.
boy.
Mine now. This is mine.
This is mine. Bye. Goodbye.
We have a top secret meeting with our highest cleric, Preston, talking to Dupont on a weird sort of screen thing. It gives me like, is it Last Jedi vibes when you have like Snoke as the hologram talking to Kylo Ren? It's kind of like that vibe.
Did you
like
notice
this bigger thing in the sky.
Yeah.
People stopped referring to him as cleric. They started referring to him as Preston.
Yeah.
For a bit.
Oh.
Like they stopped
Shit.
using his proper title. They just started calling him Preston and John and stuff. Like
So
it was
they
getting more
knew,
personal.
Maybe.
Didn't notice that, but that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. DuPont informs Preston that Daddy has now decreed that all sense offenders are to be either shot on sight or captured, questioned, and then incinerated without trial. And Preston's kind of struggling to control his emotions. He's clearly not happy about this. He does say, well, this doesn't seem right. What about the law? And DuPont is like, well, whatever Daddy says is the law. So you're going to have to be okay with that. But we see him struggling. But he's just about holding himself together, Preston. He's just about holding himself together. Preston checks the evidence locker for Mary's possessions that have been confiscated, and he finds a little ribbon and he sniffs it and puts it in his pocket. And I swear to God, the first time I saw this film, I thought that was panties.
What?
I thought he found some like knickers, gave him a sniff, and pocketed them. Because why is it a ribbon? Why is it a ribbon?
Because if she ties her hair up with a ribbon, it can smell like her hair.
Oh,
and it smells
right.
Nice.
Oh, I get it now.
I don't even know what to say to you, honestly.
I'm such a man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What even ribbon for?
What ribbon for?
Ribbon for presents. You know, like...
Well...
It didn't make sense to me, but now it does. Thank you.
Why use ribbon when you can use rope?
Or underwear.
Exactly.
Well, the red ribbon is, like a... Well, the red ribbon of fate, I think. So maybe that's also...
What?
Red ribbon, red thread of fate. So maybe that's part of the sort of messaging
From
of the
Greek
film.
mythology.
Maybe Chinese mythology, I think. I don't think it's Greek, but maybe it's a symbolic thing for the film as well as
Yeah. But he sniffs and pockets this ribbon, and he leaves for the Nether, but we see that Brandt is following him, and
I hate his partner very much. Like,
he's a real dick.
He's a real fucking
he's
slimy asshole.
He fucking hates Preston, and he wants his job.
Yeah,
and he wants to take him down. Preston parks up, opens up the boot of his car, and there is the fucking pupper.
Oh.
And he sets it on the ground, and he's like, go on, off you go, you're free now, go on, get out of here. And then he gets back in the car, sits in the driver's seat, and the dog is like barking. It's waiting outside for him. And so he gets out, he puts it back in the boot with his jacket as like a bed. And just as he closed the boot, a team of soldiers, sweepers, arrive on the scene with their giant truck thing.
I hated this scene. This scene just... because I was like, anytime there's like a dog or an animal involved, I'm like, oh, please.
A whole bunch of fucking dogs just died.
Yeah, it's awful, but like obviously he protected this one dog, you know, from getting slaughtered, and I'm like, please don't kill the dog.
This was the bit where I was like cringing the most. I was worrying.
Yeah, I agree.
The soldiers pull out their guns. They demand to know who he is, what he's doing there, to show his ID. His ID is in his jacket, which is in the boot where the fucking secret contraband dog is. The soldiers take his keys off of him, his car keys, and they open the boot up just slightly, but then Preston says, I'm the high cleric, the highest ranking cleric of the Tetragrammaton, and the captain halts the search and is just handing over the keys. Preston's just about to take them, but the captain hasn't let go of them. And then the dog barks.
Yeah.
The captain snatches back the keys, opens the boot, there's the puppy, and he yells at Preston, down on your knees! 2 soldiers draw guns on Preston, and then one of the best scenes of the movie, they're either sides of him, opposite each other, and he smacks their guns so that their guns rotate 180 degrees, and then he grabs the trigger and shoots both of them in their face.
Yeah, it's pretty, and they zoom up as well. The visors shatter. It's very,
It's so fucking amazing. It's beautiful.
yeah.
It's the most absurd fucking thing.
What follows is even more absurd, how he takes them out. He's just... Because obviously they slide guns out of their, like... their jacket sleeves.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So yeah, Preston just kills every single soldier easily.
And then
Just to
picks up
save
the
a single
puppy.
puppy.
Yeah, I was going to say, did this all over a dog? When there was
just a single puppy
men in
killed all these
danger,
people.
well, just go with it. Just try and stay quiet. When it's a dog, he's like, right, fuck you guys.
He's a mood. He's a whole mood. I would do the same thing.
And I wrote down the dog is unfazed at this stage. All this carnage, and he's still just there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Back home, Preston hides his prosium vials behind his bathroom mirror.
Mm.
And then he practices some martial arts with like a stick. A weird stick. It's like the shape of a sword, but it's a stick. And Brandt appears, and they have a stick fight, and it's quite intense.
It is
Brandt
literally the scene with Neo and Morpheus.
Yeah.
Except Brandt hates Preston and is kind of like onto him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a couple differences, but you can see a lot of Matrix.
Oh, because it's a black guy fighting a white guy. Is that it, G?
No.
Okay. Brandt knows all about the soldiers that were killed last night, and he seems very pleased about this because the crackdown on offenders without going through their due process is now been accelerated because of this event. So Father's new rule of law has come into full force. So this has kind of backfired, really, for our cleric that's now having feels. We have the weird scene where the fight kind of ends, and Brandt thinks that he's won because his stick is on Preston's shoulder, and he like taps him on the shoulder with it, like, I've won, I could kill you. But then Preston reveals that his stick is between Brandt's legs, and he like taps him on the balls with it.
Yeah.
He goes, donk, donk, just like taps him on the fucking ball sack.
I saw dominance.
I guess so. It reminded me a bit of Dune. There's a similar scene at the start.
Yeah, where Patrick Stewart taps on Sting's bollocks.
It's no. It's when is it Picard fighting Do you know what? It doesn't matter. It's the slow blade that pierces the shield. That's the important thing to bear in mind. So just make a note of that. It's the slow blade.
Yeah, I'm writing in my notes right now.
Yeah. They go off on another raid in the Nether, and this is the one with the factory that was probably making the explosives. And they just destroy fucking everything and kill everyone that's there. And a resistance member sneaks up behind Preston, and he's about to shoot him in the back of the head. But Preston, like, grabs his wrist, and then he's like, go, run, get out of here. And they're like, no, you'll shoot us. And he's like, I could just shoot you at any time. He has to physically, like, lead them to safety because they are untrusting. But then a bunch of the sweeper soldiers burst in, and he has these things on like the butt of the guns. These like 5 nubs come out. They are retractable nubs, and he uses this to just bash the shit out of their helmets and smack their heads in. Yep. So he's not shooting with the guns; he's using them as like blunt weapons.
He does most of his best fighting when he's in a circle. When people are in a circle around him, he can hit everybody, and they just wait for their turn.
Geometry.
I think that's a key thing. Yeah, circles is geometry. Yeah, pi. Yeah, he can kill anyone. This man, he just easily just obliterates them. And then he continues to lead the dudes. But accidentally leads them directly to Brandt. Kind of messed up there. Brandt commends Preston and basically says teamwork makes the dream work without saying those exact words. He then demands that Preston execute them all. And he says, if your gun hasn't got any charge, I think he says. If your gun is out of charge, here, have mine. And Preston takes his gun, but he refuses to kill them and hands back the gun.
Important.
Bear that in mind. They're all executed by just random soldiers. The sweepers just execute our resistance dudes through a glass wall behind them as well. So that was quite impressive to see. Just all the like glass bricks or tiles shatter. Preston then asks DuPont to be the dude to locate the underground. He wants to be the one to uncover the resistance. And of course, we're like, oh, that's because he wants to join the resistance. But DuPont just appears to trust him 100%.
Who's DuPont again?
DuPont is the guy whose father's voice.
Yeah,
Daddy's voice.
Oh, right. Yep.
He's the Scottish guy, but I don't think he has a Scottish accent in this.
No. It's really annoying that, like, John Preston outranks his partner, but at every given turn, his partner is always, like, trying to, sort of question his authority.
Because he's ambitious.
He is, and, like, obviously...
He wants to be the top dog. Brandt wants to be top dog, number one boy.
The first thing he says, or one of the first things he says to John when he gets in the car is, being with you will fast track my career. So that should tell you everything you really need to know. But he's just hate how it's like, it feels like authority means nothing. And they even like the higher figures get questioned all the time.
It makes him a great antagonist, though.
It does, yeah.
Because he's
just on his ass like grass constantly.
Preston visits the corpse of Partridge and goes through the possessions that were on him when he was killed by Preston. And he sees that there is a series of photographs.
I thought it was a CD.
It is like a CD case.
Yeah, I thought it was like a CD case, and I thought it was like some heavy metal, goth metal shit. I think
it might be an old cigarette case or something that they're stored in. I'm not sure. But it's this silver case with a bunch of photographs. And there's one, we don't see what the photograph is, but on the back it says freedom.
It does, yeah.
Preston goes to question Mary. She's still alive. They haven't killed her yet. And the freedom photo is of Partridge with Mary together looking happy. And at this point, he tells Mary that he was the one that killed Partridge. She responds by grabbing a pencil and lunging at him across the table. He stops her very easily because he knows gun kata. A pencil is nothing to him.
Well, she sort of like takes a moment to process.
Pencil, my only weakness.
Oh no.
He stops her, pins her down, and they like look into each other's eyes, and they have a moment, not a romantic moment,
or sexual tension.
At this point, I was sure that she would like know that he has feels now.
Maybe she
I guess not.
I think she slowly
suspects.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he walks away, and we have another split diopter shot. It's a reverse shot as well. And Preston says, "You are lovers." And then he leaves.
What the fuck?
And it's like, yeah, I know. It feels like that was something put there for the audience in case we didn't figure it out.
Yeah, it's like...
You were lovers, weren't you? You and Partridge were in a relationship together. And then he winks at the camera, which I thought was very odd.
Like, yeah, we know. We know.
Yeah. Preston visits the Freedom reading room. Do you see? Freedom. And there he meets Brian, it's a puppy, Conley.
Brian Conley.
Brian Conley, the famous British comedian. Do you not remember when he did, "It's a puppet," when he was like Philip Schofield and Gordon the Gopher?
I remember.
He had that. I thought Sophie would know.
Sophie would definitely know.
You mentioned Gordon the Gopher, and I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I love that guy.
I used to find him hilarious when I was a kid. But watching back, it's the most irritating shit I've ever seen. So yeah, big influence on me, Brian Conley.
Good to know.
He is like the head of reading room, and he's like making sure that there's a class of people all reading lessons from Daddy. But Preston storms in, throws everyone out, interrogates Brian, and Brian gives up a name.
So he's
Jurgen.
He's he just this Partridge. No wait, Preston is holding people against tables a lot now. This is his thing. He's held Mary against a table. Now he's holding him against a table.
It's a theme. I'm not sure what the symbolic significance of the table is in this movie, but I'm sure there's a reading of it. Preston also looks at the wall and realizes that it's not real books, and he just like bashes his way through it, and there's a secret room behind it. And there waiting for him is Jurgen. And it's fucking William Fichtner, who was Roger Van Sant in Booth's favourite movie, Heat.
I wouldn't have been able to recognise him.
Yeah, not in a million
Just
years.
saying.
Not in a million years she would have recognized him. I always recognize this guy, and I will to the day I die, as the guy from Prison Break.
Right.
He plays like a bit of a rat type character in Prison Break. And I noticed him. He plays Alex, I think. And I noticed him at the beginning of the film. So he was there at the beginning. He was in the crowd, and he was one of the first people to stand up and applause when Daddy was giving a speech. And I was like, hey, that's the guy from Prison Break. I wonder if he's important. And there was another guy from Prison Break, but he had a very small role. He was the dude in the beginning, the one that was guarding the room with the Mona Lisa. He plays
the brother.
He's the brother of
the big one.
The main
Dominic Purcell.
Dominic Purcell is the brother of the main guy from Prison Break. I love Prison Break. It's so iconic. But yeah, a couple Prison Break characters.
I think he was supposed to be the lead of this film.
What?
There's trivia about that.
Dominic Purcell?
I think so.
Yo, okay, all right. Interesting.
But instead he had the very, very minor role in it.
Yeah.
That's going to feel bad.
I guess they must have gotten like Christian Bale and were like, Soza, we've got Christian, so...
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Jurgen reveals that the Resistance have been watching Preston, and they know that he's feeling things.
Oh, no.
He then opens a trapdoor and says, "Welcome to the underground!"
It's a literal underground.
Yeah, it's literally underground. He gives Preston a polygraph test to just check to see if he does have feels. And he sure does. He says, "How do you feel about Mary who's going to be executed?" And, the needles will go... so he knows that he's off the prosium.
Yeah.
Jurgen then, he says to Preston, it's important to know like when to feel, basically. And sometimes you have to force yourself to not feel anything. You got to keep up the facade. And then he says, by the way, it'd be really good if you killed like Father, aka Daddy. If you could just do that, then that would solve a lot of our problems. And that's quite a big ask. Like, the first time you meet this dude, you're like, we need you to assassinate the leader. The leader of our country/city. Sure.
Assassinate the leader. Bit of a big ask, if you ask me, but, you know.
We see Preston just legging it along the street, and he's just yeeting people left and right as he runs. He's just shoving these people out of the way. Some of them, it looks like they land really badly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
he then goes down a side street or alleyway, takes a moment to just have a breath, but then immediately the giant sweeper truck and bikes and soldiers appear to escort him away. DuPont is actually there in person to meet Preston, and he informs him there's a rumor one of the elite clerics has stopped taking their prosium and has started having feels. DuPont slams his fist on the table and starts yelling, which seems like an emotional response to me.
Yep.
That seems a bit sus.
Also, have you
what's
noticed
more, this cleric...
Sorry, have you noticed his... Did you notice his comically large chair, by the way?
No.
You didn't,
All chairs are comically large to me.
Trust me, this one is a comically large chair.
Right.
Like it's a throne.
Yeah,
almost.
but like a dinner table.
A leader would have.
Yeah, but it looks like a dinner table chair, but like in the size of a throne. It's just bizarre.
That's strange. Why would he have a throne though? He's like the second in command.
That's
father. Sorry, daddy was the leader.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why he would.
Strange.
So odd.
So yeah, this traitor cleric is attempting to make contact with the resistance. DuPont then asks what Preston has been up to lately, and Preston responds with attempting to contact the resistance, sir.
Oh.
And then there's like a tense moment when we're like, oh shit, DuPont knows. But then he says, well, how are you going to find the traitor if you're only attempting to contact the resistance? And it's like, oh, thank God. That was quite a good fake out moment.
Yeah.
I did notice that he somehow always finds a way out of very dire situations by either through killing or he just gets insanely lucky. It's like,
well, number one, he is probably the best killer that exists in this society. And number two, he's being played like a fucking fiddle.
True, yes.
So with that in mind, it does make sense. Preston continues to hide his meds, still not taking them, and he's fiddling with his son's meds when his little boy Robbie wakes up and he's like, "What are you doing, father?" And he's like, "Oh, just checking you've been taking your meds." Okay. And it's like, oh, that little shit. He's gonna tattle on his dad.
I honestly thought he was.
Yeah, I was thinking that his son is gonna
rat him out
because he was gonna rat out his mate. I was thinking, this kid knows.
That was also a fake out.
We know what's coming.
The kid was also a fake out as well, because it's sort of, trying to lead you to believe that the kid is, trying to be a outstanding citizen, all this kind of shit. But the fact that he
cleric like his dad, he snitches on his schoolmates.
Yeah, but he questions stuff as well.
Yeah.
So we should have. It was sort of like a. Is he trying to do the right thing by how society is, made them to sort of act and behave, or is he questioning things? I wonder if the kids have to take the medicine like the adults do with the injection.
Yes,
they do.
Yeah.
Damn.
Literally, Preston was fiddling with it.
He had it in his bedside table.
Right.
Yeah, that was Robbie's prosium injection kit thing.
Savage.
Preston meets with Mary, and his watch beeps, notifying him that it's time to take his dose of prosium. But he just sits there, and Mary's like, "You're not going to take your prosium?" He's like, "Guess what, bitch? I haven't taken it in days." Well, he doesn't say that.
Yeah, word for word. That's what he says.
Mary finally figures it out, and she's like, "What are you going to do?" And he's like, well, I don't know. And then they touch fingers.
They did touch fingers, which is illegal, and they should both be shot. I think before when he was talking about getting Preston to kill for the father, they mentioned something about her getting... She's like scheduled for combustion. I don't know if you remember that line.
Yeah, I think that's coming up. I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they might have said it. She had like within a week or something, or the next day, whenever. We're given a ticking clock element.
I found that phrase so fucking like hilarious. Scheduled for combustion. I put me planning my weekly mental breakdowns. Like,
Oh my God.
scheduled combustion? What do you mean? She's not going to combust. You're just setting her on fire.
That is combustion.
Is it? I thought combustion was always like just like an explosion.
No, combustion is the process of something setting on fire.
Oh.
Specifically, it's when a fuel is ignited with the presence of oxygen.
Right, okay.
That's what combustion is.
G is talking to two people who took physics.
Every day's a school day, level. Especially with you guys, so the more you know.
So there's already an external fire that lights her on fire, so she isn't actually combusted.
Right.
In this sense.
She's scheduled to be in the same room as combustion.
That's true. Yeah. It's not a bad, it's not a bad place to be. Fuck it. I stand by that. It's not a bad place to be. Fuck it. Yeah. Sure. Burn me. Preston informs Jürgen that Daddy is very heavily guarded. There's like 50 sweepers guarding him due to the high risk of assassination. So taking him out is not going to be easy, is the implication. Jürgen tells Preston that there's bombs planted in every Prosium factory in the city, and as soon as Daddy is killed, they will detonate the bombs, disrupt the supply, and it only takes a single day of disruption and society will change, guaranteed.
But it only took one dose for Preston to change. So
yeah.
So
there will be a big effect.
Do we find out how many doses they have to take a day?
I feel like one in the morning for sure, and then there's like when people are walking in the street, there's an announcement, and then they all stop in their tracks, and they also take an injection. So that's twice.
And then the evening,
and then
so
maybe
there's at least 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be a big change then.
Yeah. Preston agrees. He's going to kill Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
He just needs to figure out a way to actually be in the same room as this man that he's never met. Preston watches on a monitor as Mary is taken off to be executed.
Mary.
He goes over to his desk and he watches back old footage of his wife.
Did you notice that when he was messing with his son's dosage, his son went, "Good night, Dad."
He didn't call him John. Oh shit! Oh, that's a good catch.
And I was
that's a good catch.
So this is
holy shit.
You know that the kid isn't in on it. Like he's.
Oh my God.
He's also a feeler. He's a feeler.
This film is so fucking clever.
Oh
my God.
That is so good. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even notice.
This is why I wanted to lean into the cheese and lean into the stupidity, because like there are really clever bits, and I don't want to disregard it just because it's a fucking. It looks naff because it's from 2002. Of course it's gonna look naff.
Yeah, exactly.
Preston watches as Mary's taken to be executed, goes to his desk, watches old footage of his own wife being sent off to be executed, and we see on the footage Preston was stood directly behind his wife.
He was there. He was just hanging out.
He was there.
He was like, yeah,
glaring at the camera.
Burned.
Preston doesn't want history to repeat itself. He rushes to stop Mary from being burned alive. He runs it. He runs through the office. He runs through a series of fucking tunnels. And they look really cool, these tunnels. Are these real things that exist, these tunnels? Are they somewhere under LA or something?
I don't know.
Really a set.
Well, they were under in They Live as well. There'd be these big tunnels.
Yeah. It's a theme.
Yeah.
It's a theme.
To be fair, Brits used the London Underground as like bomb shelters.
They did, didn't they?
So we do have tunnels, but they are filled with train, so you can't really use them.
They won't be that curved either. They're really curved.
They're really wobbly.
That'd be dangerous for a train.
But they're really wibbly wobbly at the London Underground. You just don't really feel it.
That's very true.
If you look at the actual like journey that they take, it's
they're not the straight lines.
They're
that
not
the
the
map
straight
have.
lines on the map. No, they have to avoid all sorts of stuff. It's really clever.
So he rushes to stop Mary from being executed, but he's too late.
There's Darth Vader's there.
She's been locked into this furnace, and we're told that if they unlock it, there will be a massive explosion on the streets above. Which, what?
It makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
But you can tell that, they've said that because he obviously doesn't want everybody else to die.
Right.
So that's sort of him feeling again. So I don't know whether this is something standard that they do. She was
Mary's been fucking burned.
Mary.
the fact that there's a tiny little gap in the door.
There
right?
A
is.
T-shaped gap, which is a recurring theme. There's these T's in doors and windows.
What's the name of their big organization again?
The Tetragrammaton.
Right, so
That'd be why.
tetra is 4 in Greek.
It means it refers to 4 things written down, 4 letters in particular.
Right.
I don't think it's very it's not very good to have a big gap in your door when you're going to incinerate someone.
I think it's
Or
glass
something.
in the...
Yeah, I think it's a window.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it's tempered glass.
Fair enough. Well, like an oven. You
An
have to go in
oven.
and clean that.
You got to check.
Oh my
You
god!
got to check that, you
Get
know...
Mr. Muscle, just take human remains. Just
Get one of them scrapers on it.
Fuck, they have to do the same things in crematoriums, though, right? So
But
it must
it's-
be a thing.
But it's
There must
weird.
be
No,
a
because...
line of products.
Didn't his wife... Weren't we laughing about the fact that his wife got, like, slid into a furnace?
That was a dream that he had, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, I thought that's what happened.
No, they make them stand there while they get burned.
Damn,
As like a
dude.
timer ticks down.
Yeah. Oh my god.
She's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Preston has witnessed Mary dying, like looking into her eyes as she got burned alive. And he walks out into the street. He tries to control his emotion, but he breaks down.
Yeah.
He drops to the floor. He starts crying. And he is immediately arrested by Brandt, who is grinning down at him and then punches him in the face. What a fucking asshole.
Such an
Yeah.
asshole.
It's not enough to just arrest him for it. Just punch him.
What a fucking asshole.
So in this point, there was the music of this bit. I thought it was a pigeon in the room because it sounded like a pigeon cooing. Like there was a pigeon
Sophie,
noise.
is the pigeon in the room with you right now?
It could potentially be in the room right now. I won't lie. No, in the music, and it's in the credits as well. The pigeon came back for the end of the movie. I thought there was a pigeon. I was like, what?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything pigeon-like, but
Well, I did.
I believe you. I believe you.
Thanks.
If you say that there was a pigeon,
There was a pigeon. Well, no, it just
It's
sounded
probably-
like it in the music.
it'd be funny in the credits it said music by pigeon.
Music by pigeon.
Brandt brings Preston into DuPont's office and he says, like, really smugly, there was a tracer in the gun that places Preston at the scene of the puppy defense killings, I've said in my notes.
Yeah.
And they pull it up on the computer and they're all like, huh. But then Preston pulls the Uno reverse card and says it was actually Brandt's gun. And we see on the monitor it was Brandt's gun. We see in the flashback when Preston was handed Brandt's gun, Preston actually handed his own gun back to Brandt. He didn't hand Brandt's
Clever.
gun back to him. So he swapped the gun.
Very clever.
So, yeah.
Man's
damn.
playing 4D
He knew
chess.
that there was like trackers on the guns, and he knew that they was potentially going to get into some hot water. Better just swap it out, just so that he looks like he's free and clear. So basically, he's gone and framed him. He's gone and framed Brandt and said it was him that I've brought you the guy who's got the feels. And the guy who did all this.
Due to father's new orders, Dupont just orders Brandt to be sent off for execution.
Easy.
So,
job done.
Problem solved. He's gone. He's gone from the movie. However, just to make sure everything's by the book and official, Dupont will have to have Preston's apartment searched, just in case.
And he's like, that's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Dupont also asks if Brandt being sent to his death disturbs him in any way, and Preston says the only thing that disturbs him that he hasn't yet met Daddy, despite being the one to potentially locate the resistance.
For him.
Just laying the ground. Maybe it'd be cool to meet up with
my
Daddy
boss.
one day.
It'd be nice to see me, boss. It'd be nice to see him employed.
Not to kill him or anything, not to assassinate, just to, be like, shake his hand or something. Yeah. The search team is at the apartment complex, and Preston says the words, "I have nothing to hide," and then just fucking legs it up the stairs, along the corridors, runs for his fucking life, presumably to retrieve the vials.
He gets home and they are ransacking his house, and he's just like, very good, the search team's already there, very, very cool, and he just shuts himself in the bathroom.
Yeah, just need to have a piss.
Got to take a massive shit. Please excuse me.
He checks behind the mirror, and the vials are gone. Robbie walks in. He's holding them in his hand, and we're like, "Oh my god, he's fucking snitched on his dad. We knew this. We knew this was going to happen." But no, Robbie has not been taking his Prosium since his mother died, and his sister is the same. Both of his fucking progeny are sense offenders, and they've been hiding it, which I can't imagine how the fuck a kid could do that.
Honestly. No, kids can't regulate their emotions at the best of fucking times.
I mean, I feel like I have tantrums a lot.
Have you seen those videos of kids screaming because they can't get in the oven? And it's like they can't drink the chemicals under the sink, so they've just decided to kick off.
This is a video of my daughter when I wouldn't allow her to eat a stone, and she's just bawling her eyes out.
They're kicking off at all this stuff, saying that, you're not allowed to go and have a cuddle with the lion.
Oh my god. So, yeah, it's Robbie's good. He's a goodie.
Oh.
So that's nice. And unnamed sister also is a goodie, presumably.
I think Lisa was her name.
Lisa, okay. She doesn't have a line in the film, right?
She doesn't have a single line, but
yeah,
it's fine.
Preston telephones HQ and says, "I've located the resistance." But he's in the resistance when he does this. Sorry, he's in the underground, I should say. They're all arrested, and Preston is rewarded. This is all part of his plan. He really wanted that white dress uniform. And also to meet with Daddy now.
Father!
The meeting is arranged. Because he did it. He got the resistance arrested. It's the price that they paid so that he could meet up with Father to take him out. However, there are a few rules with meeting Daddy. You have to avoid eye contact. You can't get too close because there are snipers that will just take you out. Oh, and you got to surrender your firearm, obviously. Can't have weapons. Oh, and just one more thing. There's a test.
And I was like,
uh-oh.
No.
What? Uh-oh. There's a polygraph test.
DNA test. He is not the father. Maury Povich cameo, I wrote down. I want Maury Povich there.
Oh, my God.
Jeremy Kyle would fucking love all these polygraph tests and that.
Oh, my God. But yeah, this is what polygraph tests are really for. Not showing when someone's lying or telling the truth, but showing when they're conveying emotion. When they have an emotional response to something.
And if they have an emotional response to something that they're not supposed to, then it constitutes as a lie. On Jeremy Kyle, yeah.
Yeah. Man, that would be a lot darker a show if that's what they did. Jesus.
It did get pulled off the air.
So we have Preston in his lovely white dress uniform, sat down at the polygraph test. And the guy questioning him says, okay, first question. Well, it's more of a riddle. What would you say is the easiest way to get a weapon away from a grammaton cleric?
Oh.
And I was like, I know the answer. This is man. It's man.
Time.
The darkness.
It's the wind.
The wind. Yeah. Sleep. I think sleep is the answer.
Yeah.
But as soon as, like, cleric leaves the questioner's mouth, someone reaches, they lean forward over Preston's shoulder and they say, "You ask him for it." It's Brant.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
Brant.
Where did Brant come from? I thought he was dead.
And Preston's polygraph doesn't look good. There's a response.
There's wiggly lines all over the fucking place.
Shock horror. Daddy then directly addresses Preston from the big screen in front of him, saying that it was Brant's job to let Preston feel like he'd won. The plan was to let a sense offender cleric join the underground, draw them out, and then capture them all. And they played him like a fucking fiddle.
They did.
I bet you feel dumb now, don't you, Preston?
I felt
I didn't
quite
say
dumb.
that, but and then the screen changes and the image of Daddy fades away, and it's revealed that it was Dupont this whole time.
Oh my
Dupont.
God. There's so many switcheroos. There's so many things going on in there.
Dupont was playing the role of Daddy. Daddy has died many years ago, and the secret council that runs the world, probably the Illuminati, elected Dupont to be the new leader secretly. Just playing the role of Daddy this entire time. Preston's polygraph goes completely fucking apeshit. The scribbles are massive, out of control, but then it completely stops and it's just a straight line, no emotion. There's a single man there in the room who goes, "Oh shit." And then Preston pulls out guns from his sleeves and shoots everyone dead apart from that guy. Which I liked, because I think maybe Preston was like, the guy went, "Oh shit." That was fear. He felt an emotion. Maybe he's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case, but that's the kind
It's
of
an
vibe that I
interesting
got.
theory. I mean, I think that this film does make you think about, who else is feeling things?
Yeah.
And it makes you think about what could potentially be going on with everything. Because there's so much. There is so much.
Preston basically goes full fucking Neo from the Matrix. He's going through a corridor filled with these sweeper agents, and he does these super cool moves, does somersaults and shit, has this weird reloading mechanism, which is really cool. It comes down from his sleeves and reloads his guns. He kicks a rifle and catches it in his hand and shoots people.
He steps on it so that it flips up.
Yeah, flips, I guess is the word, yeah. But, my God, he's such a badass, using his gun kata skills, just obliterates everyone in the corridor, bashes through the fucking door, and it's Dupont and Brant in a marble room with a series of pillars around it, a lovely circular room. Preston steps towards them, and we see there are soldiers behind these pillars, and they've all got katanas.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to have such a good fucking fight now.
Oh
this
my
is going to be
God,
amazing.
yes, the scene.
They stand in a circle around Preston. One of them growls.
Yeah, I was like, what?
What?
But don't worry, because they're in a circle, so they stand no fucking chance against Preston.
Preston just grabs one of their katanas out of the sheath and just... And the four of them fall down dead. It took seconds for him to kill them.
So cheesy, isn't it?
Then Brant takes a katana from the desk, and they have their epic duel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It literally takes 1 second for Preston to kill Brant.
He cuts his face off.
He does. He cuts his face slides off.
That was horrible.
Oh my! How sharp is that blade? What the fuck?
To take out skull as well.
Yeah,
incredible.
Also, did you notice that the room had? I mean, you probably did. It's had color in it.
Yeah,
color, art.
The whole the whole vibe changed a lot throughout the film as well, but that room in particular. Why would he have so much colour in his room if he
Because
wasn't...
DuPont doesn't take prosium.
Yeah.
He probably thinks he's above
DuPont,
everyone. It's like, I can handle emotion, but you guys should not
You're
be
not
as long
allowed.
as society is controlled so that they can rule them, it doesn't matter. The rules don't apply to them.
Yeah.
Brandt picks up his gun from his desk and then he misquotes Yates. And he says, "Be careful, Preston, you're treading on my dreams." And the treading on dreams thing is what Partridge said at the start of the film. It came up again. But the fact that he was aware of Yates,
Yeah.
that's another indicator. And then we have their gun kata duel, and it is fucking awesome. So they have guns, but they're hitting each other's hand out of the way so they can't get a shot on each other. And oh my god, I can't even describe it.
Magic.
G, go ahead.
What? Go ahead, what?
How would you describe this duel between DuPont and Preston?
I mean, well, in terms of how he had a fight with Brent and it was just over within a second, it was pretty okay. The look on DuPont's face was what made it for me. He was very wide-eyed, shocked,
Yeah,
sort of
looks
panicked.
like a psycho.
He does. He looked very panicked the entire time. It just looked funny. But I was sort of, yeah, I mean, it's dumb, it's cheesy, it's over the top. I thought it was funny though. And obviously he gets outplayed.
It's good to have a fight with ranged weapons, but it's melee combat.
Yeah.
That's,
you got to be able to use your
something
gun
quite unique
as a blunt weapon, which is what they do. I also noticed,
but they're also trying to shoot each other. You get these shots going off, and they're dodging and
their guns are very
Man.
bizarre. They're like, what are they? Pistol shit? No, they're like a normal. Is it a pistol? I don't know what it is, but it sort of fires like an automatic, and there's a lot of ammo in them for some reason. And he can get a lot of shots off, even though he does reload, but it still doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, Brandt did say, "Is your weapon charged?" So I think,
maybe, but
I think there's magical rules for the guns, so they don't have to just shoot 8 shots and then immediately reload.
Yeah,
which is fair enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Preston eventually disarms DuPont, and DuPont just tries to reason with him. He says, would you really kill someone who's actually truly alive, who feels, is it worth the price? And Preston goes, I paid it gladly, and shoots him dead. Bosh. Preston then goes through into a control room, just destroys fucking everything.
All the computers.
Which stops the broadcast. Daddy's broadcast across the city is disrupted. And then the bombs detonate in the prosium factories. We see these big explosions. It's like End of Fight Club.
Yeah.
But during the daytime.
I have a question. So they said that as soon as Daddy's dead, then the bombs go off. How do they know?
Because the broadcast was disrupted. I guess that was part of the plan.
Oh, yeah.
And when he's punching, he's ruining all these computers, he sees Sean Pertwee face still broadcasting. So he just shoots that. He just shoots the hologram.
It's symbolic. It felt good to him, and he feels things now. So feeling good is a good thing, I guess. We see the factories all explode, but then we get a shot of his daughter, and there's the fucking puppy, and it's licking her hand. Oh, there's Bingo. Wait, Bootgo.
Bootgo. Oh, Bootgo. Good boy.
What a lovely boy. And his son is at school, and he smiles as he hears the bombs go off, which is pretty creepy when you think about it.
Yay, loads of people have died. All these workers.
Oh my god. We get some shots of the resistance attacking, striking back at the sweepers, and they're killing them everywhere. And the final shot, I guess, is Preston fingering Mary's ribbon and smiling at the camera.
Why did you have to?
He did it for her.
The end. That was Equilibrium. A wild fucking ride, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a wild ride. Oh my god. So yeah.
I didn't think they were going to be able to wrap up everything because there was like only like a small amount of time left. Because I looked at the runtime and I was like, oh, there's still a lot to kind of wrap up here. How are they going to conclude this?
I think it helps that like two of the big fights at the end just took seconds.
Yeah, it didn't really take that long.
Oh my god. Okay. Final thoughts. I guess me first.
You first, Simon.
I honestly, unironically, think that this is a fucking amazing movie. It's a real boys' film for the lads.
Yeah.
For men to watch men shoot other men. A fun romp, an action movie with an interesting setting. You know, this fascist, futuristic dystopia. And Christian Bale being cool and winning, beating the bad guys. And the sprinkling of plot throughout it all works for me, honestly. It's not the most in-depth, artistically brilliant film, but it's very enjoyable, and it's got a happy ending. I gave it 8 out of 10. It's not the best film ever made, but it's a solid action movie. Very enjoyable. Simon out.
Simon out. Sophie, you should go middle. I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so I didn't rate... When I logged this on Letterboxd, I didn't actually rate it because I wanted to keep it a secret from everybody, what I thought. But I had zero idea of what to expect from this film. I thought it was mega cheesy, and then I allowed it to happen, and I ended up enjoying it. Dodgy CGI, doofy CGI, doofy fights, but I just let it happen to me, and I give it a 6 out of 10.
Not bad.
6. Not bad.
Because, I mean, yeah, it's really boy, lads, all this fighting and shit, which really put me off a bit. But the story behind all of that, that's good. Thanks.
Thanks for that. It was good, Simon.
I thought you would hate it, honestly. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's a win.
And I thought that you thought I would hate it, so I wanted to keep it quite a secret from what I did actually think.
I can never tell sometimes. I thought Biff would think it was all right. I knew it was going to get like an average score. I didn't think you were going to hate it, but yeah, I have been wrong in the past. But I do think I know what kind of movies you hate.
You're getting there now. Yeah, you're learning.
I'm learning.
Or she learning.
Anything over 2 hours.
Yeah, I draw the line.
That's an immediate 3-point deduction.
G-Star Games, how did you feel about this film?
I liked it. I thought it was clever in some aspects, but yeah, the CGI was obviously a bit naff in certain points. It's quintessential early 2000s kind of film with the sort of futuristic setting, dystopian sort of setting. It's not my favorite kind of dystopian setting. I don't really like brutalist structures and architecture. Yeah, I don't love that kind of thing. But that's the sort of emotions you're supposed to feel. I mean, some people do like it, but my sort of dystopian future is more on the cyber sort of that sort of futuristic type setting.
I guess the
Blade Runner
sets and everything is quite utilitarian and minimalistic.
Yeah.
And you like clutter and bright lights.
Yeah, I like that sort of I don't know what it's called specifically, but it's like the Blade Runner, sort of with the rudimentary technology. It's got kind of brutalistic structures, but it has a little bit of character to them. Whereas a lot of these are just very straight-edged and stuff. I liked the story. I thought it was pretty clever. I think it had more potential to be great, like really good, but obviously it was very sort of trying to follow in the Matrix footsteps a little bit. And it wasn't as clever as I was hoping it could have been, but I still think it managed to drive the message home. So yeah, it's a little bit shallow in some aspects, but there was aspects of cleverness. I would give this 7, I think. 7?
Yeah. Oh my god.
No, I think it was
Holy
good.
Shit.
I do really like it. And I think I was going to give it an 8, but I like pondered it a little bit. I was like, okay. So I think a 7 is fair.
Good grief. That surprises me.
Why?
Pleasantly surprised.
Do you think I was going to hate it?
I thought you just think it would be just a dumb movie.
No, I kind of like that kind of stuff.
I guess there's sort of like plot twists and things in it, you know. There's stuff going on. It's not just a dumb action movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. There are layers. It's not just surface.
Oh my god, like ogres.
Like ogres. They also have layers.
Yeah. All right then, should we move on to the triv?
Let's get on to the triv.
Sean Bean has developed a reputation for starring in roles where his character dies. He continues this hallowed tradition in this role. 17 minutes in, he dies.
Bloody hell.
Oh. Okay, he wants to say the dog one.
You can, because I don't have any up. G, do you want to say?
Where is the dog one? Oh, yeah, so the puppy used in the movie was a Bernese mountain dog.
Yeah.
The noises it makes, barks, whines, and yelps, weren't made by the dog, but by an actor who was specialized in mimicking animals.
Can you fucking believe that? Very convincing.
Yeah. Yeah, very well done.
Oh, bark, bark.
Bork Bjork.
And what's my motivation for this scene? Yes, you're a little dog, and you're outside,
and you're going to get slaughtered.
And Christian Bale is sitting in the car. Absurd, isn't it?
It is.
We said the one about the 2 actresses playing Preston's wife, which is insane. This is a good one. John Preston kills 118 characters in this movie.
Whoa!
Which makes him responsible for exactly half the deaths shown.
Whoa!
And as of March 2023, he holds the ninth place for the most kills caused by a character in cinema.
No way.
So this includes all of the kills by John Rambo, all of the kills by John Wick. This single movie, he's 9th.
God damn.
It's arguable that he actually holds 2nd place overall for a single movie kills. Beaten only by Clive Owen in Shoot 'Em Up, where he plays Mr. Smith, a hitman, presumably, that kills a lot of people. I've not seen it. But that's insane, isn't it? 118 people he fucking kills.
That's a lot. That's a big body count.
Good lord.
Yeah, that's a good piece of trivia in general. People in cinema who've killed a lot of people. I was gonna say Oppenheimer, but
oh my god! Oh my god! Jesus Christ!
So apparently, despite popular belief, absolutely no wires were used in the film at all. All the gravity-defying stunts were done through conventional means. For example, the backflip off of the motorcycle was done with a trampoline.
Whoa! That is
amazing.
cool.
That is very cool.
Apparently, the ironically brief fight between Preston and Brandt at the end was actually the result of a Raiders of the Lost Ark-esque snag.
Oh, Did he have the shits?
Do you remember that when he shoots? No, it was nothing to do with the main actor having diarrhea. The script had a much longer fight in it, but the actor who plays Brandt had a very tight schedule, so he couldn't be in a long sequence. So they had to rewrite it. They're just being immediately killed. There's rumors that it wasn't him in the fight; it was a body double.
No.
And of course, when we see his face slide off, that's CG anyway. So he may not have even been there.
I hated that face slide so much.
It's so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's iconic, but like awful. Very awful. Kurt Wimmer as the director, had originally wanted Christian Bale, as you said, for the lead role. After seeing him in American Psycho, which counts, which makes sense because that was in 2000.
So it wasn't Dominic Purcell that he wanted.
Well, he did. He wanted Christian Bale, and then he changed when he realised that he wasn't available.
Yes.
He's like, oh, Dominic Purcell will do.
Yes. And then Christian Bale became available, and then Purcell was available, and then Dominic Purcell was cast as the guy at the beginning.
Oh, that's harsh.
That is so harsh. I'd be so heartbroken at that.
But just imagining this giant fucking bold beefcake of a man. I don't know. It feels a bit weird.
Yeah, I can see it, but I do think Christian Bale did do a good job.
He nailed it.
Yeah,
he nailed it. Man.
What else was there? So Kurt Wimmer invented the martial art.
I think it's Wimmer.
Wimmer. Okay.
If it's German.
Maybe. It's spelled Wimmer, but who knows if it's pronounced that way. So the martial arts style of gunfighting for the movie was invented in his backyard.
What?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Just a guy being a dude, being a guy, being a bro. And he's like, yeah, martial arts and guns. That sounds like fun. I've seen The Matrix recently.
Oh, God.
Anything else?
Do you want to move on to the the budget box office?
The film takes place in 2072. That's actually kind of fascinating.
Oh.
2077. What makes you a criminal in Night City? Getting cock.
Where do you come?
Oh, God. Okay, let's go on to box office.
I
do not have the
So this was a big hit, right? A movie with all this kung fu shit, set in a dystopia after The Matrix got released, starring Christian Bale. This must have been a huge hit, made a load of money, right, G? Right?
So the budget was... Oh, fuck me. So the budget was 20 million, and the box office only made 5.3 million.
Oh, no.
Cleo, that's abysmal.
Yeah, it bombed. It didn't do great. It didn't do great at all.
But I always hear people mention Equilibrium so much. Like, I know that people quite like this movie, so that is very, very weird. However, I saw this trivia before we moved on to this, and it said the film was not given a wide release because it had already run into profit as a result of overseas sales, and Miramax didn't want to risk turning a moneymaker into a loss.
What the fuck?
Yeah. What?
Right, so that 5.3 million is like America, and overseas it made a profit. So it wasn't a bomb! Yay!
Oh my god, Daniel Radcliffe auditioned to be John's son!
What the fuck? Oh my god.
Oh, this trivia is amazing.
Okay, do you think it would make a good video game?
Yeah.
First-person shooter?
Like a Doom? Sure.
Or maybe more like Deus Ex?
Oh yeah.
More like an immersive sim? Where you have to like go through the motions of being a cleric, but then making decisions where you don't get too many innocent people or dogs killed.
Yeah, okay.
A moral sort of quandary type.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it could work.
There is a game on Steam called Equilibrium that I found.
Oh, yeah.
And it is, quote, developed by a senior high school student who fall in love with games. I will take into consideration the sales to keep updating and develop a bigger service. And from the description of the game, it says, the last one is a special mode called Equal. In this game mode, ghosts are weak first. What the should do is hide themselves and Fuan. At the same time, humans need to find out the ghosts and destroy the Fuan. If they failed to do that, there will be a counter-strike.
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I don't know. I think there's a Google Translate at work behind that.
Yeah.
But I thought that would be interesting, just to quote the game Equilibrium on Steam.
Yeah, why not?
In no way related to this film.
I did see an interesting fact about the guns. So the pistols used by the Grammaton clerics are Beretta 92Fs, converted to fully automatic firing. So they made a bunch of modifications to it. They gave the guns longer barrels, modified the slides. The shells came out on top. They put a compensator on the barrel as well. And the muzzle flash, flash formed the tetragrammaton cross symbol when they fired.
What?
Yeah, but that was added obviously.
Did anyone capture that? Did anyone realize?
No, but that's an effect obviously added post production.
Yeah, some of that cracking CG that they utilized.
Oh
in the film.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Oh my god.
All right.
Yeah.
That's Equilibrium.
Time to roll. I think it's been 5 weeks since we had a booth pick. Been a while.
Who knows?
So I'm fingers are crossed for you, Sophie. My fingers are crossed.
My toes are crossed for you, Sophie.
Of course they are. They always are.
Oh, put those grippers away! Right. So, just a reminder of what our lists are. Have we made any changes?
No.
Lades?
Nope.
No?
No.
I have replaced Equilibrium with the mystery film Murder Ahoy, a 1964 movie starring Margaret Rutherford as Miss Marple.
Hey.
It's a funny, charming little film, and I wanted something different on the list, so it wasn't just like action movie kind of stuff.
Sounds good, Simon.
My list it's In the Mouth of Madness, Heathers, Johnny Mnemonic, Murder Ahoy, Krull, and Doom. So I wanted something different to stand out in that list.
Yeah.
So we got an old black and white, charming murder mystery film.
Cool.
G's list is Ocean's 11, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Sea of Love, Alien, Shutter Island, and Coraline. Sophie has Labyrinth, The Hidden, Ruffles, Blowout, Beverly Hills Cop 3, and Cemetery Man.
Oh.
All right, let's see what we got. What number on each of our lists to narrow it down to 3 films? We got a 5, which means it's Krull, Shutter Island, or Beverly Hills Cop 3. Oh my good god. Okay. So, a 1 or a 2 will be me. A 3 or a 4 will be G. A 5 or a 6 will be Sophie. Let's just roll. Let's get it out.
Hey, it's a 6.
It's Sophie. We're watching Beverly Hills Cop 3. I hope you've watched the other 2.
It doesn't matter if you haven't.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. I watched the first one again the other day. Ding, ding.
No, that's the crazy part.
I watched the first one again the other day, the first Beverly Hills Cop, and it's just one of those really comforting films that you put on, and it's just like, yeah, nothing really matters.
I think I've seen all of them. Does the third one still have Eddie Murphy in it? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It'd be very weird if it
Didn't he
wasn't.
get really, really mad at the guy that he was in the first one? I think he was in either the second or the third, because he was the guy with the little... Would you like an espresso? Achmel Foley. I'm making myself a little lemon twist. You should try it. He got really mad at that guy because he was like hamming it up for the camera, and Eddie Murphy was like, it should be about me. This is all about me.
Oh my God!
And he got really pissed off at that actor.
Wow.
It was funny.
Have you seen the photo of Eddie Murphy eating a steak off of a naked woman?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you sent that to me.
I'm going to look that up.
It's not even him in it.
What?
It's supposed. It's a fake. You're supposed to think it's Eddie Murphy doing it, but it's someone else.
I feel...
So everything you know is a lie.
No! Wait, so it's been photoshopped, or what is it?
Like, how would you eat like cutting through a steak on top of someone's body?
Well, then
is insane. Because that knife will go through the flesh of
Eddie
a
Murphy
body.
steak. Eddie Murphy eating a steak and fries off the back of a model in 1985. I mean, it's either a photo opportunity, just a picture. Like, he's not genuinely eating that, or it's not. And like, that steak is pre-sliced, right? Right?
Bro, there's so many, like, if you go onto Google Image, a lot of the images are, like, blurred out for some reason.
That's just your safe search.
On Google? Oh, because there's an ass in the picture.
There's a little bum cheek.
I see a little bit of cheek.
A little bum cheek.
Okay, well, yeah, there you go. So it's not him. Is it just a rat?
Miss Barr says it's fake.
It's fake. But, I mean, we can believe that it's real. There's no evidence to say that it isn't real.
No.
So we can just believe it if we want.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm going to have to ask him. We're going to have to find him and ask him.
Biff is on friendly terms with Eddie Murphy.
Of course I am. Because I said I really loved you in that film where you were a donkey.
Oh my God. My God.
Basically,
the indie film.
The photograph was initially published by a French website, Simon Says, in 2007. What? The website by Francois Simon concentrates on food, restaurants, hotels, and travelling. None of the related articles, including the one in Le Figaro, mentions Eddie Murphy. Conclusion, he is not Eddie Murphy. It's just a guy.
It's just a guy that looks like Eddie Murphy.
He's got a mustache, and that's probably it. Does he even have I can't tell.
I think he does. Yeah, he does.
Okay, let's sign off. Let's say goodbye to everyone.
Hang on, I found a song on Bandcamp called Eddie Murphy eating a steak off a model's back in the 80s.
Okay, well, we can't play that anyway. But it's there for people to listen to if they want to search it.
Oh, that sounds so
I can't even imagine what that song would even be.
It's kind of math rock.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. It's
not good.
Yeah. Yomp.
Hi.
You've been listening to... Is that it? That was your sign off?
Yeah.
Can we... All right, I want us all to do a very polite sign off. Okay. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode made just for you. That's right, you listening to it right now. This is Simon. Thank you. Goodbye.
Fuck you, you're a loser. Listener.
Wow. Hey, no,
I thought
some people
that might be addressed to me.
Some people like
what
that.
What the fuck?
Some people really like being called worthless little worms.
Yeah, gee, call the listener a worm.
You're worthless little worms. Pathetic.
Yeah, and you're gonna put your stinky feet all over them.
You're disgusting. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Get those grippers away.
Wow. What another episode of YOMP that was. Thank you so much as ever to our patrons who keep us going. Not just monetarily, but you guys wanting to listen to this is a really nice incentive to keep doing this. Also, we just enjoy doing it. So thank you so much to people who want to give us money or follow us on that. Thank you especially big to our Giga Yompers on the big tier. Native Blood, Lawrence, Sleepy Deej, Scott, I'm a Robot, Luck, and Enki. You guys give us the biggest tier, and for that we thank you. There are other tiers available. We post notes, we post polls, we post pictures, we post anything that sort of seems to happen. Sort of just comes up anyway. I'm going to keep this going for as long as possible. This is going to be like the longest patron shout out you're ever going to hear. I've been knitting some stuff. I've got a little Milky Way bar here. Been knitting a balaclava. It's really good. Come a little drink. Anyway, see you soon. Bye.